Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're taking a look at Astroport Phase 2, which opened up today. This is where price discovery takes place for the Astro Token as we bootstrap the first LP position for Astro to UST. So the more Astro versus UST we get in the pool, or vice versa, this will directly affect the starting price for the token. So many different considerations to think about. We're going to run through phase 2 in this video. If you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out the pinned comment down below. Make sure you use a VPN when utilizing crypto online. So first and foremost, we're starting off here because Luna again has just posted another all-time high up to around $85. 85 and 10 posted 21 minutes ago from this video, and just an absolutely heroic end of year run here for Terra Luna. And due to the fact it's performed so well whilst other things have been performing poorly, you can see a lot of people are now eyeing up Luna as a shoe-in for their portfolio going into 2022. So I think this will have huge momentum coming into next year. But enough of that, let's have a little look at phase 2 of Astroport, the bootstrapping pool here. So this started today, 7 a.m. UTC time, and during the first 5 days of this you can actually commit Astro, UST, a combination of both, either and or, and in return for your participation you will receive some Astro tokens. So we're here on the 21st of December, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. So up to Christmas Day, well technically 7 a.m. UTC time on Boxing Day, you can actually deposit into this LP position here. So I would do it prior to Christmas Day, or if you're up really early on Boxing Day, you can do it then. During this 5-day period, you can deposit Astro tokens, but you cannot withdraw Astro. You can deposit UST and withdraw them, so you could play a little bit of a game there, and I'm sure a lot of whales will do so. Similar to phase 1, right at the end, we saw huge amounts of LP positions piling in and diluting rewards. So even the best made plans here, clearly they're going to be disrupted by whatever the whales decide anyway. On those final 2 days then, you can withdraw 50% of your UST on this day, and then from 50% it decays down to 0% as the day draws on. Now essentially with this, what we're doing is setting the price of one Astro token. So if there are, say, 1 Astro tokens deposited and 10,000 UST, that means Astro is worth $10,000. That will not be the case. We've got a load of tracking tools that you can utilize to actually see this as we're going forward. I'll show you those in just a second. But essentially, if there's more Astro than there is UST, then Astro will be below $1. If there's more dollars in here than Astro tokens, this means that the Astro token will be worth more than $1. And if they're 1-to-1 in equilibrium by the end, well then we have a $1 Astro token. So as it states in the docs here, the value of the Astro token will be determined by how much and at what ratio all participants add UST and or Astro into the pool. And you can commit in any configuration that you wish. For example, Astro only, UST only, or a combination. And by the time this ends, all deposits, so whether you go for just one or the other or both, they're all going to be deposited into this first LP position. So all deposits go in to make the Astro UST LP position, and that sets the price for the Astro token. It then gets converted to a 50-50 share of the pool when the pool closes. So if you deposit just dollars, you're still going to own 50% of your value in Astro and 50% in dollars. So do be aware of that once you come to redeem at a later date. No surprises on the table. Understand what you're getting into here. It's like a typical LP position. You could get impermanent loss. And depending on the ratios at which you enter versus when it ends, this will directly affect the amount of each token that you will receive. And then to note, you will have to wait until your lock expires to actually get your LP position back. So these tokens are locked for 3 months in total, and that will vest on a linear fashion, so you can start to withdraw a little fraction each and every day up to that 3-month endpoint. Here's the actual dial, but we'll jump into the website for real in just a second. 10 million Astro tokens are distributed to the LPs who are committing their Astro or UST to the pool. So 5 million for Astro, 5 million for UST. So this means if you didn't get involved in phase 1 and you still got a big bag of UST here, you can just deposit UST, and there are 5 million Astro tokens earmarked for people who are adding the UST in here. So there are rewards on offer still, and after the launch of Astroport, your Astro UST deposits unlock linearly, as I mentioned. So you're pretty much committing to a 3-month period here, and then once this ends, we start phase 3. So this one will be when Astroport is live, and you can actually see the initial Astro emissions. So these are set for the first year. However, once governance kicks in, we can vote on these emissions to be changed. But for example, the Astro UST pair gets 15 million Astro tokens over that first year, so 15% of the total emissions. So if you want to take the long-term approach, maybe you've got some Astro from phase number 1, you've also got some UST, you don't mind just chucking it all in here, gaining some nice Astro rewards, contributing heavily to that LP position, and then just utilizing that LP token for the next year and just accruing more and more tokens, and of course a fee share as well from all the trades. Now, before we jump into the Astro drop, which is the airdrop for LP and stakers, one thing to add is that you don't have to do anything. So if you just received some Astro tokens, you can't move these until 48 hours after the protocol actually goes live, so around the 30th of December. But in the meantime, you can just leave this alone, not do anything, not participate if you don't want to, and then you can just have your Astro freely available for you to potentially sell once we get to the open market, or you can just tuck them away for the long run. Whatever you really want to do, you don't have to participate with this if you don't fancy it. Now, there are some airdrops here. So if you were staking Luna or you were staking B Luna on Anchor prior to the 9th of September 2021, you should also get an airdrop here of the Astro token, and also for LP providers as well, provided you were in a pool that contained at least $1 million in liquidity. All the information is in with this post. I will leave it down in the description along with everything else we go through today. And there's minimums and maximums on the amount of Astro you're going to receive. So if you had, say, 1 Luna staked only, you will get the minimum airdrop, which is 27.85 Astro. If you have the max, which is 20,000 or more Luna staked, you will get 5,571 Astro tokens, which is a heck of a pickup right there. And then for the Terra LPs as well, $1 worth of liquidity would get you that minimum, and that will be $82 for the LPs. And if you had over $100,000 worth of liquidity on TerraSwap in any pool containing over $1 million, well, you're going to get 8,200 Astro tokens. So some big pickups for those who participated early on. And as you can see, everything in crypto, it pays to play. So just your participation alone, getting involved with protocols, often brings with it a load of benefits that you just don't see from the outset. So here's one of the really cool tools out at the moment. This is on app.flipsidecrypto.com. These guys always put together some epic data and charts. And here you can see the total deposits in phase 2 of UST at the top versus Astro. And also you can see the ratio and how that's developing over the day here as well. So this is something useful to come and track and then decide whether you want to add UST or Astro to this pool on the basis of, do you think the Astro is currently undervalued or overvalued? And that is a decision you have to make for yourself. Maybe do a little bit of market research versus other AMMs which have a similar model, maybe the likes of Sushi, just as an example there. But what do the Redditors have to say? I always enjoy looking through Reddit for comments. So this person's asking, I understand phase 2 is partly about price discovery. Is it an ideal strategy to then lock Astro and the amount of UST that you would like and hope that others do the same? So I think this guy's getting at the fact, if you think Astro is worth $1 and you've got 200 Astro, you would also put 200 UST in. And as he mentions, some game theory involved in here, and certainly that is the case. Now the best comments down here, I know you'd like an answer to this, but the outcome is too unpredictable. There is no way anyone knows how the Astro token will be valued. However, since it's a liquidity pool, the value of whatever you deposit stays constant. That is true up till the final day when we actually know the value of those Astro tokens. So I think it is wise to actually hold off your deposits until right near the end, so you have a rough idea of what one Astro is worth, and then you can work out the exact amount of total LP you're putting in if you're putting in UST as well. So if it looks like Astro is going to be $1 and you've got, say, 200, well then maybe you will want to pair that up with 200 UST. But there's just so many things and different moving pieces here to think about that it's not going to be straightforward whatsoever. And this is how the guys over at Delphi have gamified this as well. And then this person's put down here, the ratio will be public and will only lock on the last 2 days gradually, as you won't be able to pull out UST anymore. Hence, you'll get a rough idea about a possible price for Astro before you lock in your liquidity. If you're just depositing UST or Astro, it will be split 50-50 between the two at the ongoing ratio when the pool closes. However, like I mentioned, if a big whale comes in 5 minutes before the end and literally takes a shit in your pool, that means they're going to skew the ratio. This can then be in your favor or not, depending on the outcome. So pretty much whatever you're thinking may happen could likely go out the window in the final moments as a whale comes and deposits in here. So I think it's just best to have a long-term time horizon. Strategize. Are you comfortable locking up your funds for 3 months? Are you comfortable with whatever the outcome is? Do you just want to farm as much Astro as possible? Or do you want to take a kind of 50-50 approach? Maybe put some of your Astro in and some UST and then hold some back. Maybe you want to hold some UST back to buy Astro on the open market. Maybe it's a little bit undervalued from the get-go, or maybe not. It's really difficult to actually call this one. So it's just super exciting to actually watch this unfold and see exactly where this ratio ends up. We'll jump into the actual lock drop in just a second. But for me personally, what I'm actually going to do is put some Astro and UST in near the end of the final deposits once I can see the ratio. And I'll probably just keep back some UST as well to possibly buy some Astro once this goes live, as I do think with a long-term time horizon, the Astroport value here is going to be pretty epic. So if we just look at the account here, I showed you this one the other day, and it actually had my estimated Astro rewards at like 200 and something. However, that was massively diluted because I got into the Luna pool, and as I say, a whale came in at the last moment, deposited hundreds of millions of dollars of that position, and it dilutes your rewards. So I only got 84 Astro in there. And this is why I think I'm going to be potentially buying some Astro once this goes live, as I want to have enough exposure to this. I think having the dominant DEX on the Terra ecosystem is going to be super valuable. And so let's just run through the items here. Of course, we have today, tomorrow, the day after, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to get involved. And then that starts to close up 7 a.m. on Boxing Day, and then we have the day after as well, where you can just withdraw your UST. So all the whale games are going to happen around 3, 2, and 1 here. But what we do know is that if we deposit some funds here, we've got some tokens, some Astro tokens that are going to be allocated to us irrelevant of whatever happens. But at this moment in time, if you click this tab, you can read through exactly how this all works. And you can also get an estimate of your rewards on here as well. But until we have a few more days in the bag, until we can see a load more tokens added to the LP position, the estimated rewards that they're calculating right now are highly likely to be totally different from what we're actually going to get. So keeping your cards close to your chest and playing this near the end is probably for the best, unless you just don't care and you just want to get involved. Add the LP position, leave it, sit on your hands. So as it says, if all remains equal right now, one Astro will be worth $1.18. We have 6.9 million Astro in the pool and 8.2 million UST currently. If you click on provide liquidity, we can go and have a little look at what it shows us. So we've got an Astro balance. If I press max on here, you can see that the estimated rewards add up to 60 Astro only. There's no current airdrop for me, so I was not staking prior to September the 9th. Unfortunately, had my tokens over on Celsius at that point. And then I've also got around $49 in UST. So if I wanted to just max these both out, I would get 87 in rewards, but that's just an estimate. That is likely to change, or will definitely change. But maybe you want to just pair these up. You think it's going to go to $1, so you're just going to put in 46 of each, as this is showing me. So if you wanted to provide that as the LP position, you then click on the provide liquidity button. And also you can see that the lock ends on March the 28th, 2022. So 3 full months from when the protocol goes live. So this Astroport Lockdrop has been a pretty cool event to get involved with. A lot of game theory behind this. This is how the Delphi Labs team structured this, and it's been a bit of a brain teaser and still continues to be. So until we actually know roughly what the figures are going to be coming into Christmas Day, it's very hard to make an actual judgment call here. But when you come to put tokens into this LP position, if you think that the implied Astro price at that time, so say it's like $3, if you think that's overvalued, add Astro tokens. And if you think it's undervalued at that time, add UST. So have a good think about what you want to do approaching this one. And we really look forward to the brand new year, starting with this absolute beast of a protocol working on Terra. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.